I'm recording this video clip into my GH5S directly with no computer involved, no RTX graphics card during the recording process, and yet I'm able to cut out the server fan noise from my server right here, just like this. And it's gone. How am I doing that? I'm going to show you in today's video talking about a new update of sorts, a new technology release from Nvidia at GTC today, or at least at the time of recording. It's pretty cool.
I'm EposVox, your stream professor, and in this video, we're covering a couple new technologies and previewing them that are coming to streamers from Nvidia that they just announced this morning / in 5 hours. I'm recording this at 4 a.m. That Nvidia's working on, that they just announced at GTC. They've got some cool stuff coming down the pipeline, and I get a chance to preview it here for you guys. However, all of this is early access. It is still very much a work in progress. Some of this is not coming out for months, but I got the opportunity to share it with you and share the exciting things that are going on. And so I want to work through that with you. The things that we are looking at are RTX Voice is coming as a VST filter to apply in real time in other software other than just the pass-through audio device option, which means you can do it in post as well, as I just showed you. I'll show you how to do that. We've got NDI getting NVENC support to reduce the CPU overhead and make it a lot easier for streamers to actually stream 4K 60, 4K 120, or just in general from PC to PC without the need of a capture card, reducing the streaming overhead compared to streaming on the same computer. Pretty cool. And then they also have a couple new technologies coming in the new Video Effects SDK, and we'll talk about what that means as we progress through this. But since I opened with it, I want to go ahead and show you the Audio Effects SDK. So what this is basically the tools that Nvidia has already released to us or have teased at TwitchCon 2019 with regards to RTX Voice, the RTX green screen, and if you remember at TwitchCon, they actually teased some augmented reality stuff and things like that. Those are a part of their new streaming effects suites. And there's audio effects, and then there is video effects. And what comes from that will of course be the Nvidia broadcast app that I already showed you. I already walked through it. If you missed that, check my video link in the video description. But along with that, they are releasing SDKs that provide access to all of these tools for other programs to implement, which means we'll see programs like OBS Studio, Streamlabs OBS, XSplit, potentially video editors like Adobe Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve. Ideally, all of these will eventually implement these SDKs to allow you access. So theoretically in the future, this is not coming right now, but theoretically in the future, I could do the RTX green screen in post in my video editor of choice, assuming they implement it. Both Adobe and DaVinci at this point are very slow to implement certain things, so who knows? But I am hopeful and I'll keep pushing for it. And we immediately get to demo here RTX Voice as from the Audio Effects SDK here in a video editor and an audio editor. Now you require two things, and I'll have Zaymar's blog post linked in the video description below that explains all this. You will need the Audio Effects SDK for your graphics card architecture, which will require either Turing or Ampere. So RTX 20 series or 30 series. Sorry, GTX users, you're being left out here. It was never built for that technology anyway. You'll need to install the SDK for your graphics card, and then you will need the specific Audio FX plugin from Zaymar himself. Now, this is the developer who built the StreamFX plugins for OBS Studio, which add a lot of custom encoders, a lot of cool shader effects, stuff I still want to dive in. He's actually taking on the mantle of developing this, and he's doing it all on himself. So I will recommend you go check out his Patreon because, you know, he's not really getting paid for this by anybody. And we need to be paying him. I believe I'm a patron. If not, I will be signing back up because I was at one point. And I definitely recommend supporting him because one person doing all this work is pretty crazy. Now, currently, this is only available as a VST3 plugin, which means that you are limited in the software that supports it. Unfortunately for me, that includes DaVinci Resolve. When I was researching this, I saw a ton of forum posts asking why the heck DaVinci Resolve doesn't support VST3 plugins, but it just doesn't as of October 2020. Hopefully in 17 it might get support, but I don't know. Neither does OBS Studio at the moment, so you can't apply it in OBS, which is unfortunate, but Zaymar is working on developing a VST2.x version of the plugin as well, so that eventually you'll be able to use it in the rest of your software of choice. However, Adobe software and most audio software worth a darn will actually support it as well. So in Adobe Premiere Pro, once you have installed the plugins and installed the SDK, you'll need to reboot your machine and then open up Adobe Premiere Pro, go to Edit, Preferences, Audio. This is going to take a minute because Premiere freezes at everything I do anymore. I really don't like using Premiere anymore. All right, once your audio preferences open 10 minutes later, click Audio Plugins Manager and go ahead and click Scan for Plugins. And you shouldn't have to do anything else. It should automatically detect. And you see at the bottom here, Zaymar Voice Effects. Click OK. If this doesn't show up for you, you either didn't install the SDK or you forgot to reboot after you did it. And that was the necessary step for me. Now click OK. Import your footage as I have done here and go ahead and identify the part you wish to edit. I've already applied the effect, so I will remove it here. Go ahead and go to Audio Effects, VST3, and then I believe it is under Restoration, Zaymar here, and then Nvidia Voice Removal. Now currently there are no options, so if you click Edit or whatever, there, tiny little box, there's no parameters to change. However, those will come in time as development continues, but at the moment it's just on or off. And honestly, it's magic. Like, you saw it at the intro clip. It is pretty freaking cool. However, I am personally running into an issue with Premiere Pro where it crashes upon export. If I play it back,
and it's gone. How am I doing that? I'm going to show you in today's...
Totally fine. No issues. However, the second I export, it crashes once it finishes the export, and the audio in the export is all staticky and messed up.
Just like this. And it's gone. How am I doing that? I'm going to show you in today's video talking about a new...
This could 100% be an issue isolated to my broken Premiere Pro config because I have the worst luck with Premiere these days, or something else. But again, full note, all of this is very beta, work in progress. There is a lot more development to be done on all the tools I'll show you here today. This is just the first round so they could show what they've been working on. However, you will have much better results in Adobe Audition. For all I know, Premiere Pro doesn't even have proper support for VST3 plugins. They just kind of throw them in. My air conditioner is kicking on along with that loud server, but I will be editing all of my audio for this video through RTX Voice, through Audition in this way. So the second way is with Adobe Audition, or your audio editor of choice. I'm showing it with Audition. Again, drag in your footage. Audition has a little MPEG importer, so it's fine. I'm gonna export so I only have the channel I want to edit. You go to Effects and then Audio Plugin Manager, scan for plugins, it'll find it, you're good to go. Go to Effects, VST3, Restoration, Zaymar, Nvidia Voice Removal, and just click Apply. Give it a second. And wham bam, look at all that background noise gone. Heck yeah. Then you can save it out, sync it up with your video, because it'll be the same length, so you just block out your old audio and you're good to go. And that is it. Like, that's all that's required for RTX Voice in other programs. I'm pretty stoked. Like I said, I really hope the VST2 version comes soon because I would love to use it in Resolve instead of having to drag my audio into Audition, but I've had to use that workflow through Audition for a long time anyway, so it's something I'm kind of used to. I cover a lot of tech topics on my channel, and I can't always go super in-depth on all of them as some are just too far out of my wheelhouse for me to have expertise on them, but as an educator, I'm always learning. I get asked in videos on more hardcore topics like my automation scripting to provide more resources for learning for those that want to get into coding and scripting and things like that for themselves. And for that, you should check out Brilliant. Brilliant is math and science enrichment learning, taking a more active approach to education, as many of these skills you really learn by doing rather than listening to someone like me all day. They have daily challenges pulled from your ongoing courses that help you, get a little refresh and get into specific projects each day and provide you with the context and framework to tackle each specific challenge and learn concepts through application, actually doing the thing. If you like a specific problem and want to, dive deeper, they have quizzes and more ways to get more detail about that specific problem. And if you get stuck or are having trouble with it, there's a community of thousands of learners talking about each problem and providing solutions and ways to help you figure it out, rather than just giving you the answers. This has been super key to me learning to pick up Python to further enhance my projects and my scripts, where I usually just put them out there and be like, if someone else wants to finish it, you can. I'm now learning to actually finish my own projects and provide better tools, and allows me to engage on what was originally a passing interest of, oh, that would be cool one day, to actually learning and developing a new skill. To get started mastering your own dream skills, head on over to brilliant.org/EposVox and sign up for free. The first 200 people who sign up with my link will get a 20% discount off their annual premium subscription as well. So happy learning. Now, secondly, we're getting a video effects SDK as well. Now, a lot of the technology for this is not currently implemented in a way that I can really show you. However, there are a couple cool things I want to talk about. I mentioned the AR augmented reality SDK. That's for some of the face tracking and kind of, VTuber stuff that they showed at TwitchCon. That stuff will be coming. It just requires developers to implement it in your software of choice. You do, however, get two cool technologies that I can show you here. One is what they're calling super resolution. And this is using their AI upscaling tools, kind of like what's in the Nvidia Shield, to upscale video playback, either in a video player, ideally in a video editor, however, that's not currently present, or just what you're watching in a live stream, theoretically, through NVIDIA Control Panel, in that it will take and upscale your video with some AI upscaling magic that NVIDIA uses. I believe Linus has a video talking about the NVIDIA Shield's AI upscaling. If so, I'll have it linked below. But it ends up making it look a lot cleaner. They actually provided a sample video. I don't have a way of testing it manually, unfortunately, but they did provide a sample video here that shows a 720p 2 megabit per second stream being super resed up to 1440p. Now, all of the original artifacts, well, not all of them, but many of the original artifacts of being limited to 2 megabits per second for 720p will still be present, but they highlight some areas where you can notice some of the added blocking in what should be solid colors and things like that is cleared up. There's some chroma artifacting from the process that is cleared up. And generally speaking, you're getting a now native display 1440p image that looks better than the original 720p upscale. This will be useful for upscaling bad video in your video editors, playing it in like VLC or something and getting it to look a little bit nicely. And theoretically, depending on how they implement it, because some of these features can kind of be thrown in the NVIDIA control panel and apply to all video playback, theoretically, you can enjoy better looking Twitch streams as a result of it. Now, it's not magic. You can still see there's plenty of artifacts based on the limitation, but it's that little extra bit of fine tuning that can kind of make things just look a little bit nicer, and depending on the implementation, could go a step further. The second cool technology I can show you is not video effects related, it is NDI related. I mentioned this at the beginning. NDI has had a lot of updates recently, and if you haven't been paying attention to them, they released the NDI Tools 4.5 update recently, and then they're releasing a new update to that with, ideally it should be released at the time of recording, it should already be up, but implementing the Capture HX. So there's two types of NDI. There's NDI, which is just all eye, losslessly compressed, very high quality, but uses a lot of bandwidth. And then there's NDI HX, which uses H.264 encoding to theoretically reduce the bandwidth load, or at least give you more bandwidth options, but it does use more CPU overhead on your devices. This can impact your game streams and things like that. They have used Screen Capture HX on NVIDIA graphics cards to then use NVIDIA NVENC encoding to take that load off the GPU. And what it results in is a theoretical less than 6% or around 5 to 6% hit on your gaming performance while streaming with NDI versus previous methods and versus streaming on the same computer. And I have sort of validated those results. Now, one of the big things that NVIDIA is hoping to push and test with this is 4K 120 FPS streaming, where you stream that full 4K 120 experience over your streaming PC, and then you can do slow-mo replays and all of this, which you can't currently do with capture cards due to there being no HDMI 2.1 capture cards. However, I did not buy a 4K 120 monitor. I thought anyone who bought it before HDMI 2.1 was standardized, and before capture cards got it, if you're intending on streaming, I thought most of you were insane. I still believe that, and everybody I question about screen tearing when it comes to it, because they're forcing the, scale onto another capture card, everyone who says they don't have it, I've checked your streams. You do have it. Once they come out with HDMI 2.1, and once we get a capture card that can do that, I'm actually going to pick up a 4K 120 monitor. In the meantime, if you don't have a capture card that can do it, of course, you can now use NDI for it. It is pretty cool. Now, again, I don't have that monitor, so I tested it at 4K 60, and the hit from Rainbow Six Siege from just playing normally to running with NDI HX using NVENC was only like a 4% hit in frame rate, which is still much above, even in the lows, my monitor's refresh rate in this instance. Obviously, 60 hertz. In Modern Warfare 2019, however, we saw only about a 2 to 3% performance hit on your average frame rate just playing the game versus playing with the NDI stream available, whereas streaming everything on that computer using OBS, the webcam, the overlays, and then streaming that straight to Twitch with OBS was a full like 16% performance hit. So if you're looking for an easy way to implement a second PC to reduce your performance impact, the impact of just using this new NDI method versus Actually streaming on a single PC is a significant improvement. It's almost negligent, and it was already almost negligent before, but some people on certain CPUs had issues where the CPU encoder would cause a CPU performance problem. This is no longer the case. I did, however, run into some issues. Again, this is kind of work in progress. I wasn't too happy with the quality. They're supposedly working out, and it doesn't seem to have the OBS run as admin fix, which back when I was originally covering that, there was a whole GPU priority issue. OBS had to be enabled to run as administrator to then claw back that GPU performance. This plagued us for a couple years. I announced it last year. I'll have a whole video explaining it below. One of the NDI engineers actually reached out to me in the comment section to point out that NDI Scan Converter, which was the old NDI capture app at the time, still used GPU compositing and thus was still susceptible to the same issue. As far as I can tell, this is still the case even with the updated NDI capture apps. In a future video, once this is fully released and developed, I will cover that more in depth and get clarification on that. But from what I can tell, the performance still gets a little bit choppy running, which is a really intense game, Modern Warfare 2019, fully maxed out at 4K. You can still drop some frames, but overall it's still a very smooth experience, and in many cases would be smoother than actually streaming it on that same PC. So again, everything shown in this video is a work in progress, but very, very exciting tech for streamers coming soon. And I really, even though I can't show any of it here at the moment because none of it's ready, the stuff that they're doing with the Video Effects SDK is really freaking cool. And so I can't wait for OBS and Streamlabs OBS and Zaymar and whoever to start implementing some of those crazy features. Like, I am so ready to have RTX optimized, like face tracking and things like that, because I've had a hell of a time getting Snap Camera to work with my capture cards and all sorts of things. So I'm excited. I just wanted to share this update with you guys today. Hope you enjoyed. Go check out our sponsor, hit the like button, subscribe for more tech education and stream guides. I'm EposVox. I'll see you next time.